we have got some really cool stuff here, actually, with these core world boss improvements, and they kind of tell you a little bit about what actually happened here. And I probably actually will have a separate video where I play through all of these bosses, so go check that out. We might have some, you know, look up here. There's probably going to be some little clips of the bosses here, actually, but they actually really did a great job in terms of mechanically reworking 4 of these very new world bosses. Basically, the approach that they've done here is that each boss shows you a specific mechanic that pops up a lot in Guild Wars 2 PvE and is very important. For example, the Great Jungle Worm has red pulsating persistent area attacks and phases where you have to prevent husks from reaching the boss, and you can only kill them by breaking their Defiance bar. Very cool, actually. The Shadow Behemoth, you have to spread out and kill the portals before going back to the boss. Honestly, that one changed the least, okay? That was a little bit less exciting. Fire Elemental now drops meteors and shockwaves, and there's even a tooltip that pops up if you get hit that tells you to jump over it. Actually really cool for new players, actually really sick. And the Svanir Shaman has a charge attack, again a telegraphed attack, with an arrow, and he'll kind of lunge forwards a little bit and do a lot of damage with some updated models and graphics, so you can actually see what the hell is going on, actually. And again, across the board here, just in general, there's proper telegraphs with, like, you know, the orange attacks that fill up so you can see when it's going to land. You have the pulsing area attacks. You have the orange markers where something's going to land. They've done a really good job here. And to be honest, I think this is actually a really, really good set of changes, right? Incredibly, it's subtle. They're quite subtle, and you might go, oh, this isn't a raid, this isn't a strike mission. This isn't PvP or Worlds, this isn't the end game, it's level 10. No, absolutely not. Getting players to be introduced to these core mechanics is going to make it so much easier for them to actually understand what the hell is going on in this particular situation. It is really cool, actually, in this regard. Very, very nice. The only criticism I'd have here, I think it would have been really cool if they added, like, a unique drop to each of these bosses, so there's like something really cool to go back and keep farming them, or significantly increase the rewards. I think the rewards are still pretty damn weak. They give you like an extra champion bag for doing it, and I don't know, I think they could be a little bit more generous with some of the core world boss stuff. They're a little stingy here, right? A little stingy in my opinion, but I don't know, maybe they can't really do much about that. But yeah, it would be cool if there was actually like some kind of cosmetic, like a weapon skin, right? Like a Shadow Behemoth axe, or Shadow Behemoth sword, or like a Fire Elemental staff, right? And you've got like a fire staff with a Fire Elemental, or, you know, a Frost Hammer with the Svanir Chief, right? Something like that I think could be really sick. And doing that with every unique world boss, I think will be really exciting, actually. Some world bosses do have unique drops, actually, already. So I think actually adding one to each of the core world bosses that is pretty rare, you could sell it for a lot of gold, it's like a cool skin, that would be really insane, in my opinion. That's a, you know, that's a bit of an arse. It's obviously a lot of work to do that, to get all of that stuff in there and make it like a really high-quality skin. But be pretty damn cool. You know, I'm about that. It's not going to be a mount skin, guys. That's not happening. But anyway, yeah, I'd highly recommend checking these out. They're actually way more engaging, way tougher. And yeah, that's the final thing here. They also got a lot more health, because a lot of world bosses in core tend to kind of die instantly. And to be honest, all of them need rebalancing. And I actually imagine that ArenaNet will look to do that down the line. They probably will be looking to rebalance all of these for that exact reason. So yeah, there you go. And the absolute, like, home run continues with the raid rewards, okay? And this is another really good change. This is such a good set of change. What a great set of changes here to this. I mean, again, it's, I guess, relatively minor, of course, but we have 2 gold, 10 magnetite shards, 2 provisioner tokens, bonus XP, and random exotics for clearing a raid challenge mode. And there are 13 raid challenge modes in the game right now. All right? So, that means if you full clear these every week, you're going to be getting 26 gold, 130 extra shards, and, what is that? 26 provisioner tokens every single week for doing this. That's actually really good. This, in my opinion, 100% makes it very valuable for any aspiring raid group to practice these challenge modes to the point where you can clear these consistently. 100%. Because some of the harder ones, yeah, like Doom CM, Kadim CM, those will definitely take a little bit of time to get on lock. And look, the dream scenario is that, okay, maybe we say Doom CM is 4 gold. Maybe we say Kadim CM is 4 gold, right? That's the ultimate fantasy world. Again, like strike missions, right? For example, Anka CM and Mytrin CM are not worth as much gold as Kaining Overlook challenge mode and Harvest Temple challenge mode. So Dream World, we actually nudge it even a little bit further on the super tricky ones. Because right now, of course, you know, there's a very big difference between Keep Construct challenge mode, right, and Doom CM, right, or Kadim challenge mode. So that would be the dream. But this is really good. You get an exotic, you can high roll on that, get a Force sigil, get an energy sigil, get a whatever sigil that is a bunch of free gold. XP, which is Spirit Shards, which is actually valuable if you know how. Provisioner tokens, which is really good for crafting your legendary armor, and that's fast too. 26 a week is really fast. It was 10 a week with the previous implementation of this. The top-tiered Terra Toppler, you get 10 gold, 10 tokens, and 50 more shards. It's a huge buff. You're getting 80 more shards, 16 more gold, 16 more tokens, and more gold than that because you're getting these exotic items as well, too, right? So this is a huge buff to raid sims. This is honestly borderline ideal implementation. This is how it should have always been, right? And now that we're there, I love it. Great. Awesome change. Genuinely great change. I have no complaints about this, really. Yeah. There you go. Oh, yeah, there is a slight bug right now, but it's going to be fixed, right? Apparently, there's like a weird interaction with Emboldened in CM, so it's a bit confused. But yeah, whatever, right? Like, just disable it. And it'll be fixed eventually when that comes out. But there you go. There you go. Awesome change. You will now be rewarded for taking down these challenging encounters. Wing 8 when? Next wing. Wing 8 Raizu Palace undead bosses. Let's go. Probably not, but, you know, copium. So a few other things also happened to raids. So the big thing is that gaining crystals and magnetite shards were fused together. The reason you have separate currencies was basically to make it so that you can't insta-buy rewards from the next raid with currency from the previous one. That's why they kind of divided them up a little bit. Then they realized that, well, I mean, that's kind of pointless now because, well, there haven't been any new raids for a while. And honestly, I think there are other ways you could gate it as well. It doesn't even matter if you really gate the rewards and being able to buy them week 1. Does that actually matter? Probably not, to be honest. Not in a game like Guild Wars 2. Maybe in another game, but not like Guild Wars 2, I think. But yeah, and basically those have been merged together. I think that's good, you know. Streamlining currencies is always good. We've seen ArenaNet do this with dungeons. We've seen them do it now with raids as well. I mean, yeah, good. I think they could probably go even further, right? There's probably some other areas where they can clean up currency. Maybe they could combine, like, volatile magic and unbound magic together or something like that. Or whatever. Like, just keep doing it. They should probably keep doing it. So yes, very, very good. And this is actually a change that I do find to be somewhat controversial. So Legendary Divinations have been retired and replaced by Legendary Insights. And Legendary Insights are now a currency, not an item. So I think their goal here is to attack kill-proof. However, I do not think this is going to work. One, they actually added kill-proof, Gifts of Prowess, and Gifts of Compassion, each of which are going to cost Legendary Insights to buy, so you can simply use these as a ping if you want. You can also use coffers as well, if you want to do that. You can use Legendary Armor itself. You can use KP.me as well. And I understand that ArenaNet want to tackle this. And to be frank, I think this is actually another video in its own right, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay? Because it's a very complicated issue. I do think ArenaNet should attack Killproof. I do think Killproof is stupid, but there's one caveat here. And I'll leave you guys hanging for the next video. I'm reeling you in to watch more videos. Like, subscribe, guys. Do it now. ArenaNet need to add some kind of in-game methodology that allows players to find like-minded players and trust other people. The issue right now is that it is impossible or very difficult in most cases to actually demonstrate that you are an experienced player. You can't do that in the game, really. You know, you can't link your achievements. You can't, I don't know, whatever, right? Like, you just can't do that. Like, you can maybe ping a skin you've got from the boss, but that's a little indirect, right? I think that ArenaNet probably need to start thinking about adding more titles so you can show a title, right, to each boss. Maybe a title. I mean, that would be a bit spammy maybe, but whatever, right? Something like that, right? Like some way to link achievements to other players. So you can say, hey, look, I've done this achievement, and then that's good enough. Then you can get into the group, right? Because right now, there's a big problem with LFG trust. And I've experienced it myself directly. Like, when I pug, I will be in a pug group, and it will be an experienced group, because again, you know, I just want to get the kill. I don't want to train every single week, right? I don't want to do training raid every single time. Sometimes you just want to blast it. You just want to blast it down, get the kill, bish bash bosh, boom, done, okay? And almost all the time, there's like 3 people who have not got a damn clue, right? And have never done the fight before, and they just lied to get into the group, right? This, you might go, oh, what's the harm in that? You carried them, right? Yes, we did. But the thing is, the experience is less fun for the experienced players, and it also destroys trust between players in the community, right? It makes people not use the LFG. It makes people retreat into Discord. It makes people retreat into static groups and never touch the LFG, making raiding less accessible, right? And harder to get into, because the LFG is your entry point. That is where players are going to start their journey into instance content. If people don't trust that, and experienced players have zero interest in engaging with it, which, by the way, you're already kind of getting there, right? A lot of people don't trust the LFG, particularly on NA. People do not trust the LFG. That's a problem. And I think it's something that ArenaNet, they've kind of dodged around it. I know they don't like this sort of thing. ArenaNet do not like this stuff. They don't like players being able to differentiate themselves too much. That's something that they are very hesitant to do. But I think they got to bite it, right? Okay, this is something that it's not going to get better unless they do take a little bit of action there, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a hot take, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But yes, that is the meme. The meme indeed. Wait, update the model. Oh, wait, yeah, apparently people are really bothered by this. Update the model used by Watch Nights and Twisted Nightmares to be consistent with changes to the Twisted Marionette. Oh, no! Oh, gamers, have they done it? Have they removed the I think I have it, actually. Oh, no! Our robot booba and ass is gone. Oh, what a disaster. You know, this, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the change that has like got people's attention the most. I can imagine people like being big mad, like, oh, how could you remove our Kuma fuel? But there you go. Like, oh no. I think I normally don't, by the way, as one final comment, because we're basically at the end of the patch notes here. This is, there's some bug fixes, right? A few bug fixes, bit of bug fix gaming, love to see it, great content, we're having a good time, we're memeing it up big time. Ooh, actually, I haven't even talked about the balance yet. We've got more. So, little bonus item thing here, by the way. You can now get Dragon and Ritualist stats from World vs. World. From the Mist-Charged Jade Trinkets. From the Skirmish Supervisors. Let's just go ahead and take a look at that. We're just going to go now and see what the hell's going on. And see if we can get it. Let's go, 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 go. Let's leap into it. Here we go. Skirmish Merchant. Let's see what it costs. Where is it actually? Let's see. Ascended Trinkets. Ah, yeah, as I expected. Oh, this is something I want to ask ArenaNet about. I actually want, because I want to talk to ArenaNet about this. So notice how it's Testimony of Jade Heroics here. This means that, again, it's linked to End of Dragons, right? And to be honest with you, I don't know why. Okay, I really don't. So yeah, you've got, it's honestly not that expensive, by the way. This is a great way to get your dragon stuff. And Ritualist stuff for sure. Still no back piece, by the way, which is quite funny. But you can get these now. Great. Improving that accessibility. Awesome stuff. Love it. And now we can get Ritualist gear, which is very important. But here's the thing. Here is the thing. Why are we doing this? There are really important builds in the meta, like Spectre, you know, like Harbinger, Firebrand, right? All this stuff. And honestly, power builds love dragon gear. Because when you over crit cap them, certain builds do this, right? Why is it so annoying to get these stats, right? Like, ArenaNet are crippling build diversity and players trying these builds out by making it miserable to obtain these stats and way less convenient, right? Look, this is how you get power gear, guys. You go on the TP and you insta-buy Berserker gear, right? And specifically, you can get Devona gear, right? And then you look at something like Viper to play a Condi build and it's 11 gold a pop, right? This is something that's legitimately a problem. Right? This is a bit of an issue. I do think there is a huge stat inequality or stat acquisition inequality in the game right now, particularly as power builds, Condi builds rather, are very dominant right now. I think this is something that ArenaNet need to look about, right? Like they've got to look about this. Right? 50 gold for a trinket. Oh yeah, these are expensive actually. That's 50 gold a pop. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, World vs. World do get screwed here because memories of battle are really expensive. Ugh. 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 To be honest, I think these in general need to be looked at, to be frank. These need to be looked at a bit. The World vs. World prices in general are pretty crazy. Bit of a side topic there. Guys, look. Ascended Salvage Kit. 25 tickets. 250 memories of battle. Compare that to fractals. Compare that to literally anything in the entire game. Our World vs. World, lads, you're getting fucked. You're absolutely getting destroyed right now. But hey, it turns out this is like basically one of the best ways, or well, one of the relatively easy ways to get this in the game, I guess. So there is that. But yeah, certainly needs some rebalancing with the prices. Certainly needs just an overall look. In my opinion, they need to take a look at key stat acquisition across the board, because it is weird. Why are we gating it behind expansions? I know the obvious answer is, well, to make people buy it, right? But is that people aren't buying the expansion for stats? No? Am I crazy? Am I insane? We're not doing that, are we? Like, I think we can give people the stats, right? I think we can give people Ritualist gear. I think we can give people Dragon gear, right? Is it really so bad that a free-to-play player would have Rit gear or like Dragon gear? Come on. I think we can do that, right? This thing is, Guild Wars 2 is about not being annoying, right? Guild Wars 2 is designed to not be annoying. Why is it there are these kind of weird things in the game that are annoying, right? Just for no reason. Yeah. You only on Renegade, right? Because you get 33%, and you don't have banners and spotter anymore. Yeah, unlucky. Yeah, even with Roiling Mist, you get to like exactly 100%, actually. This is kind of my point, right? My point is that why is this random and very important inconvenience, by the way, in the game? Why is it like that? Why is it here? In my opinion, gearing up your character in Guild Wars 2 shouldn't be a really big pain in the ass. It should be very straightforward. You can do it because it is sometimes. Like for getting power gear, it is. Honestly, hell, even for getting Viper gear, it's pretty straightforward. But if you want to play a boon class, which by the way are crazy important, that ArenaNet want more people to play those because they're super important. I'm sorry, you want more Unexpecteds in the game. You want more Firebrands in the game who play quickness. You want more, like support builds in general. That's what you want. The fact that ArenaNet won't budge on this is a little bit, I don't know. Just add it to these, no? Add stat select, add Ritualist and Dragon, and all the other stuff to these ones. Why make a new item and throw characters on it? Just put it here. You have this. You already have this, ArenaNet. It's right there. That's my point. Okay, let's move on. It is balance gaming time. We've got through that at a bit of a tangent on that little over there. That thing over there with the new items here, with those delicious mischarged jade trinkets. Let's talk a little bit about some balance up, because actually, sneaky balance patch here, gamers. This is a good meme change here. Mechanist. Mech frame. Mech frame variable mass distributor. Fixed a bug causing the Jade Mech's critical hit chance with this trait equipped to be exactly 17.8% less than displayed critical chance in its pet stats tooltip. Basically, this is a strict buff to DPS mech, and it's a juicy one, apparently, by the way. The nerds have been in my chat. They have said that it's around a 1.5 to 2k DPS increase, apparently, in that sort of range, like 1 to 2k, that sort of radius. So it's actually significant. It's actually a significant buff. Pretty juicy. The mech is going to be blasting. And to be fair, this is a bug fix. Like, okay, people are going to go like, oh, they're buffing mech, they're buffing mech. It's a bug fix, right? It wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So to be clear, they can nerf it a little bit more if necessary. But yeah, certainly power mech is still a great build, and this makes it a little bit better. But I wouldn't overthink that change. It's a bug fix. If they need to nerf mech again, they will. Or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll buff mech even more. Ooh. Guardian, and now we get to the PB stuff. CMC is here, guys. Get me a CMCW. Get me a BMC in the chat. Get me a BMC. Get me some CMT Get me a CMC Gar. Because, oh boy, he has come with the hammer. He's here to brutalize. He's out with no mercy. CMC has arrived. Guardian. Willbender has been a powerful force in PvP since the enhancement to Righteous Instincts. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's an understatement. Willbender, monster. We're mostly happy with the impact that change had on Power Guardian builds as a whole, but it pushed Willbender damage a bit over the top. We want to be careful not to bring damage down too much, and we've started with adjustments to the offhand sword skills and rushing justice. We'll be keeping an eye on the impact of these changes, and we'll make further adjustments if necessary. So basically, we're hitting the damage hard. So Rushing Justice, that is the F1, down from 1.5 to 1.2. Executioner's Calling, that is Sword 4, I believe, which is you hit once, then you do like a flurry of attacks, and then Sword 5 here, Advancing Strike, you teleport forwards and potentially immobilize and slow your target here. So basically 3 really key skills. Massive parts of the damage output here are getting hit hard, really hard. Now, I think Advancing Strike, this is a pretty overstacked ability, right? It was a lot like Rev Sword 5 back in the day, Death Strike, where you basically charge in, right, and you land a massive hit, and you slow, and you immob. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy attack, right? Pretty damn crazy attack, for sure. So seeing it nerfed down probably is good. And in general, I would definitely say that Willbender is a little bit overperformant, and these changes actually very much bring it a little bit more towards this Herald equality, and I think that's actually good. Herald is Herald, in my opinion, is actually a really well-designed spec for PvP. I think it's an ideal roamer because it's fast, it has great burst damage, can function in a team fight, but it's squishy and can get punished and can actually get shoved away. It doesn't have that sticking power of like a proper brawler, a proper bruiser. And I think this sort of thing kind of moves Willbender a little bit more in line with where Herald is. Herald also got buffed, of course, with extra quickness uptime on Draconic Echo. We've already seen some sustain nerfs as well to Willbender, particularly to the F2. So you have a less evade frames and less Condy cleanse and a bit less healing, of course. So I think in general, this is definitely moving Willbender in the right direction. There's definitely a possibility that this could even be a slight overnerf, actually, because again, I think Herald actually is quite strong. It was like surprisingly close. And with these changes, I think Herald is certainly going to see a lot of play in PvP. But Willbender will too, right? Which is good. You know, that's the goal, right? The goal is you want Willbender and Herald to both be good. Like, for example, Willbender is going to have a lot more, I guess, defensive support baked in. You have protection. You have stability. You have some AoE Condy cleanse, right? Whereas Revenant, super aggressive, right? You have quickness uptime. You have fury share, right? All that kind of stuff. Loads of CC. So I like that. We have 2 different builds that are approaching a convergence that have a different, distinctive playstyle. Nice. Okay, Necromancer. Harbinger. Elixir of Ambition is still an extremely powerful skill in player versus player, even after the reduction to its might application in the June 28th update. You're damn right it is. For this update, we're reducing the duration of boons it applies, but we're keeping an eye on how it performs. Corruptus Fervor is another key piece of the build, bringing high protection uptime that can be difficult to interact with. We're reducing the protection duration to make these builds a bit more susceptible to incoming pressure. So Elixir of Ambition is reduced boon duration from 5 seconds to 3. Ooh! That's a big one. That's a big nerf. Actually, a huge nerf, because that's on the elixir share as well, right? So that means that your stab duration is way lower, resistance duration is way lower, right? Might, fury, prot, all that stuff is way lower. That's a big nerf, and it certainly makes like you're going to have to be super careful how you use this. It's going to be like you're going to have to time your ability. Is it probably still going to be the meta pick? I'd certainly say so, at least right now. Unless it nudges Harbinger out of the meta pick, but I doubt that actually. I think Harbinger is still very strong. Particularly, well, it's got plenty of other things going for it. Don't worry about that. And Corruptus, this is actually a bit of an oof. This is basically 100% prot uptime. With basically when you basically apply Death's Carapace, right? If you have 30 stacks, you get pulsing protection. So now you go from 100% down to 50%. That is actually a really big deal. Bear in mind that in the Death Magic trait line, you also get reduced condition damage while you have prot 2 because of the major trait, right? Or the master trait, right? So you actually get huge value out of protection. That is actually a big nerf. That's a really, really big nerf, to be honest. I don't see Harbinger getting nudged out of meta just yet, but a few more changes like that and I could actually see it, 100%. I could see you just not running Harbinger and just running more damage. Because the reason why Harbinger works is because you get tankiness and survivability from Death Magic, and honestly, the Elite Elixir 2 is like a crazy peel down tool. This means you can get bursted way harder. It makes you way more vulnerable to burst damage. You have less group insane utility with the Elixir of Ambition here as well. You still have godlike abilities like Vital Draw. Honestly, that skill probably does need to be changed. Vital Draw being a pulsing CC, very unfun. Might want to look at that, ArenaNet. You still have great boon pressure, excellent damage output, and some solid sustain there as well. And of course, decent support components too, and great area pressure with Well of Corruption, Corrosive Poison card, all this kind of stuff. But you're honestly getting there. I think that a few more nudges, and I could definitely see Harbinger becoming optional, actually, 100%. I could absolutely see that going into the future there as well. So, yeah. And also, one other meme here as well, guys. Revenant. Vindicator Gaming. Oh, man. This build was so disgusting that players in my tournament said that if I don't ban it, they will outright refuse to play. Just so you guys know what's going on here. The Vindicator's defensive tools in PvP have continued to overperform. Avatar PvP amulet builds have become even more difficult to kill, and apparently like 1v3. You could actually hold 1v3, guys. That's what I've been told. Became even more difficult to kill following the recent changes to Legendary Sentinel Stance and the Salvation trait line. Yeah, cool reworks, but needed to be a little bit balanced in in PvP. But even aggressive Vindicator builds that take Imperial Impact over Saint Shield have strong survivability through high Vigor uptime and solid self-healing on top of their other defensive skills. The healing skills in Legendary Alliance are notable outliers in healing potential. Yes, because they have like 10-second cooldowns because of how frequently they're able to use. We decided to leave the healing amounts untouched to maintain the impactful moment when using these skills. And I actually think I think this is a good call. Play with the cooldown, but still make it a good skill. So you just have to be careful when you use it. And instead increase the cooldown to create a larger window of opportunity for enemy players to push through damage. Bringing these skills in line with other Revenant heals required a significant cooldown increase. Yes, because it was 10 seconds. And we wanted to give some slight compensation by reducing the energy cost. Perfectly fair, actually. Wrapping up the Vindicator adjustments or restrictions, because in a way it allows you to be more aggressive, right? Like Rev energy and being defensive and being offensive is very linked into energy. So doing this means that you can heal up and then, not get punished in terms of your aggression potential. Want to give some slight compensation by reducing the energy cost. Wrapping up the Vindicator adjustments are reductions to Vigor uptime and 2 additional changes targeted at Avatar amulet builds to further bring down their self-survivability with reductions to Saint Shield and Unyielding Devotion. Okay, good. We left most of Salvation Inventory untouched for this update, as we want those tools to be available for potential support Revenant builds. I like that. Because again, Vindicator is the issue here, not specifically Salvation. Not yet, anyway. And we want to gauge the impact of the set of changes before doing anything further. We prepared to follow up with additional changes to Vindicator survivability as needed. Going forwards, we'll try to strike a balance between enabling support builds and keeping selfish defensive builds in check. Oh, yeah, They're honestly, ArenaNet are on point today. Holy shit. Yeah, this is in my opinion, really good philosophy here. They've identified the issue. It's Vindicator spamming dodges with its Mega Vigor, and chaining together blocks, healing, right, boon output, the Salvation Triathlon with damage reduction, all that kind of stuff. They've identified what's going on here, and I think they've taken the right solution here. So they've made the cooldown 30 seconds on Selfish Spirit and Soul Spirit. Honestly, that's actually pretty sensible if you ask me, because you kind of have 2 heal skills in a way. So think of it as like a 15-second cooldown, kind of. So still definitely a powerful ability if used correctly, particularly if you're using the Legend swap, or rather the Alliance Stance swap, to actually access that second skill regularly, and you're rotating efficiently here. Song of Alborum, this is basically when you dodge, you get Vigor. Now that's 2 seconds. That's actually very relevant, because again, Vigor is very powerful in PvP. And again, we see this this is in the Retribution trait line, I believe, in Unwavering Avoidance. This is when you dodge, you gain Vigor. I think that's what it is. Yes, that's exactly what it is. In the Retribution trait line, that's actually very significant, again, because this was like a big source of uptime there, because you could, chain together dodges, right? You get loads of evades, right? And then you get more and more, more and more Vigor uptime, which turns into more and more dodges. And then Saint Shield, we have reduced base healing and barrier from 1.7 to 1,000, and reduce the scaling from 0.7 to 0.5. Gamers, I just want to bring something up here. On launch, this was 3.6k with a 1.0 scale in PvP. This has been nerfed over 3 times. Sorry, it's 1/3, less than 1/3 of its original value. That's how broken this ability is. Now, honestly, I could rant on for ages. I think this actually is a little bit of an issue with Vindicator. Vindicator, honestly, maybe not the best design. Attaching an insanely powerful mechanic to your dodge, probably not the biggest brain play for PvP, not gonna lie. And that's why it has to be nerfed so many times, right? But yeah. And Unheal Devotion, reduce the strike damage reduction from 15% and 10% PvP only. This, I believe, is whenever you heal, you gain damage reduction in the Salvation trait line. Again, good change. They've identified that the damage reduction combined with the boon output and the dodge spam is why it's so annoying, with the spamming healing there as well. Very good. Yeah, this is good. I mean, this build was really obnoxious, but notice, it's still going to be good for, you're still going to be able to play. This doesn't touch aggressive Vindicator builds, which are also strong, by the way, to be clear, right? They're also good. And it isn't going to touch even duelist builds, because, or the ones that are a little bit more focused on 1v1 potential. Because again, you actually, a lot of the time, a lot of Vindicators who play 1v1 specs actually play Berserker Amulet and play a much more aggressive option. You play some defensive trait lines in Retribution and so on, but you don't play Salvation necessarily. You'll play Invocation and Retribution with Vindicator, and then play quite aggressively, but still have some potential. So I kind of like it. And yeah, for sure, it does reduce the sustain on Vindicator in general with Selfless Spirit, but this is kind of broken, right? In general, like this was pretty insane. I think this is actually fair, right? Bear that in mind, guys. Like, heal skill cooldown is pretty standard at around 20 to 30 seconds, and you have a double up here, so you have 2 of them. So yeah, it makes sense that they have a little bit longer than the standard heal duration. They're also quite good as well. Like, the Selfless Spirit is an AoE heal, great for support, and Selfish Spirit you can use to stack a lot of might and then be super aggressive afterwards. These are still good skills. Be aware of that. And I certainly don't think Vindicator is, like, deleted from the game. It might fall out of meta a little bit, because it might not fit in. I think it may end up being replaced by Catalyst, actually, right now, particularly. People are really in on Catalyst, which is cool, and also on Bladesworn, potentially. So it might actually fall out of meta in that positional, because again, you can't fit it in a way. You're going to be dealing with Herald, right? It's going to be Herald, Spectre, Support, right? Harbinger, and then some kind of duelist, maybe a Catalyst or a Bladesworn. So actually, the meta starts to actually look good, right? Like, the meta starts to make a little bit of sense there. We've got, like, proper Siders, not a bunker with a Catalyst or a Bladesworn. Well, the Bladesworn a little bit questionable, not going to lie. You've got your support, you've got your Necro, you've got your Roma, and the Thief Blood in there. Not bad. Now, to be fair, Spectre, notable in this patch, Spectre not getting nerfed. And look, you better stay tuned for the monthly automated tournament, gamers, because I've heard some pretty spooky things, okay? I've heard that monthly AT this weekend may well be 3 Spectres on a team. That's what I've heard. The French have gone to the laboratories, they've gone to the science, and they might be breaking out Spectre. So there may still be a few balance issues, but at least in tournament play where specialization stacking isn't allowed, it should actually be really cool games. Really cool games, I think, for tournaments that, you know, the community might run, like Masters of the Arena coming up soon. Mark it in your calendar, 29th, 30th, and 31st of July, guys. Let's fucking go. And as a final bonus change here, look, they fixed Warrior. Oh, well, not banners yet, but they did fix the crit chance. And it's good that they added on this relatively quickly, right? Now you just get 5% crit in the strength trait line as well, which of course you are going to take on a power build. And here's a little bit of a cheeky chappy acknowledgement here. We updated the Furious Burst trait in the arms line to include 5% critical chance when under the effects of Fury. However, modern power warrior builds don't typically incorporate the arms trait line, meaning that warriors were not fairly compensated for the Fury change. In this update, we've added a plus 5% critical chance to pinnacle of strength in the strength trait line. Furious Burst will retain its increased critical chance. Hey, why not? Double bonus there. You love to see it. So now you get 5% crit. This is actually a big buff. You know, Bladesworn's juicy, guys, by the way, too. You know, Bladesworn's a juicer. And yeah, this actually is relevant in PvP, too. So it's a slight buff to warrior builds in PvP. You know, Spellbreaker, for example. Pretty cool. Because Warrior definitely needs Bladesworn's pretty good in PvP right now, particularly with, like, the Vindicator nerfs. But yeah, you know, Spellbreaker needs a little bit of a nerf. You know, nerf? Buff, for sure. And yeah, but yeah, seriously, like, Bladesworn is now juicy. That's going to be a big change for Power Berserker as well. You're definitely moving into the good zone. Now, again, I think they have to rework banners down the line, but again, that's a kind of a story for another time. This is like the first change, and we are going to see, I imagine them try to hack into, like, try and address Warrior and really fix the mess they created with the previous balance patch coming up in the August patch, right? There's a patch on August, and that's where they're going to try to unscuff it, right? And yeah, I do think Warrior still needs... Warrior in PvE needs some proper love. Berserker damage needs to go up. Banners need a rework. Spellbreak, I think, needs a serious, you know, a serious look at to make it like a you know, potentially interesting option. Could be in fractals, right? You know, with this, all these new kind of boon removal changes, or maybe a situational pick at least to capitalize on some of the boon removal stuff, where you can share boons and do AoE damage when you rip boons there as well. So there's a few options, I think, for ArenaNet, but they definitely need to get on this, because Warriors, I mean, the changes went down like a lead balloon, right? Like, it was brutal. Like, Warriors kind of just dropped off the face of the earth in instance content, which is obviously incredibly undesirable on ArenaNet's end. But yeah. There you go. That is the news. It was a big one. It was a big chunk of news there. What an excellent patch. I've got to say, I hope this restores the community morale a little bit, because I know the balance patch was definitely rough. It rocked the confidence, but Harvest Temple CM and now this, I mean, whew, very, very good patch, actually, from ArenaNet. I want to see, honestly, I want to see more of this. Like, you know, content is great. I love them adding new content and, you know, like new strike missions and new living world and stuff like that. But honestly, stuff that really gets into the bread and butter, fixing the game, getting in there and getting it done, right? And fixing the systems. I think that's what really is going to take Guild Wars 2 to where it needs to be, is looking at stuff, bringing it up to date, addressing core issues and pain points, and fixing it. Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. And actually, I will actually do that thing, because I don't normally talk about the gem store stuff, but I actually will now, just this once. ArenaNet has released the Cuddly Jade Bot skin, and I'm not against, you know, microtransactions or, like, selling stuff in the cash shop. 1,600 gems, ArenaNet? Really? Really? For this? 1,600 gems? $20? $20? I mean, come on. No. No. I look. Okay, people are going to pay for it 100%. People are going to buy that. They want the cute cat, right? But that is expensive. That is very expensive. Considering what it is, it's not even like permanent. The Jade Bot isn't permanent. It's like around when you interact a few times. And yeah, it's kind of cute. Okay. Slightly immersion breaking, which I'm not a big fan of. But I mean, look, we're way past that point, right? Like, we're, you know, like, everyone's glowy. Everyone's running around in like a space cod piece, right? Like, it is very immersion breaking. It does look something like a goddamn mobile game or some kind of like pay to win bullshit, right? In BDO or whatever. So I'm, you know, grumble, 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 old man teapot, grumble, grumble, grumble. But the thing that I'm actually going to criticize here is the price. I mean, like, again, I don't normally speak about this stuff because it doesn't really interest me that much, but I do think this is a little bit too far. I think they're taking the piss here a little bit. This is they're taking the piss. This should be, I think 800 gems, fine, whatever, okay? 800 gems, you got me, right? I'm in, I'm down with that. But 1600 is maybe a little too far, and maybe even 800 is on, like, the high end here. Like, maybe we can do 600 or something like that, but 1.6k, I mean, like, that's a little far, in my opinion. That's a little far, in my personal opinion. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, milk the whales. The cat is gonna milk the whales. Hey, if it pays for the next expansion, I guess I'm okay with it, you know? Hell yeah. Dude, look, Wing 8. Guys, if we sell 1,000 Cuddly Cat Jade bot skins, ArenaNet will release Wing 8. Then I'm down. Then I'm first in line. But unfortunately, I don't think that's very likely. There it is. That is the news, my friends. If you're on YouTube, follow the stream and subscribe on YouTube and like the video and leave a comment telling me why you agree with everything I say. I need the validation of thousands of sycophants spamming my chat and comment section. Let's go. Let's have a massive circle jerk. But that's it. I'm out. Boom.